This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com. So April 13th in Memphis, you draw 1,400 fans, $8,000, and Meltzer has this to say. Jerry Lawler and Eric Embry and Jeff Jarrett beat Moondog Spike and Cujo and Richard Lee. After the match, Moondog Spike, who was doing an injury gimmick with a patch on his eye, I guess from fire, brought in a bubbling deal, which was supposedly battery acid to throw at Jarrett. Things are getting pretty heavy here, aren't they? But Embry jumped in the way to protect Jarrett and took the acid in the face and eyes and is now injured. They did a great job of grabbing drinks from fans to flush his eyes out, etc., and make it look realistic in the building. Such a great angle. And the selling here is phenomenal. Again, you can watch some of these clips over at myworldmoondogs.com. Tell me about this.
If I remember correctly, Eric was heading out of the territory and it was a way for him to go. I may be wrong on that, but again, you just sort of touched on Cujo, Lanny. Lanny was cousin junior of the WWF fame of Hillbilly Jim and Uncle Elmer and cousin junior. But Lanny as Cujo, the Moondog, he brought a whole nother of athleticism that, better than, lesser than, different. Lanny athletic ability made him the best worker out of the entire run of all Moondogs. He just could work his ass off and look the part, and God almighty, he'd whack the hell out of you. I mean, big old guy. But anyway, good worker. Drew money with him.
So let's talk about,
and the angle was good too. The acid and
that's phenomenal. Great stuff.
And how it sold, and Eric knew how to old school babyface sell. It worked.
Black Dog returns, turns babyface and saves you. Charlie Trapper is going to come in and start teaming with you. What can you tell our listeners about Charlie Trapper?
I don't remember. He wasn't around for long. He was just an old, just as his name, old. I think he was billed from West Virginia or the mountains of Virginia or East Tennessee or something like that. Journeyman dude that, he probably didn't have a 5-star match in him, but he was a character performer that just fit the vibe and the mode of this story.
The Moondogs are going to wind up destroying an enhancement talent using the name Trade Keller. I'm sure that has nothing to do with Wade, right?
Weird.
So weird.
I know, but I mean, I don't remember that. I don't say it's weird. I
mean, once upon a time, we saw an enhancement talent for Herb Abrams get destroyed named Davey Meltzer.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
So I just wondered if Lawler named him Trade, or,
what I'm saying? Lawler, because your dad was on the phone with him every week telling him what you needed to do.
This early?
I don't know. I'm just being a smart ass.
I know. No, it's fun. No, but I know. I mean, it's, I don't remember that either at all.
In May, the Observer would write this: Lawler and Jarrett versus the Moondogs may be thus far the feud of the year. If only because, with the exception of Steamboat and Rude, can you come up with another feud in wrestling that's had a personal issue and consistently top-notch matches? The feud seems to be somewhat running its course, since how many more weeks can they keep doing the same thing? But this is the rare feud that not only drives business, but the quote unquote smart marks enjoy it as well. Did you think by June it had run its course? Were you tired of working the Moondogs?
We knew that. I mean, when you sort of look at the menu of, it started with me and Robert and me and Lawler, and then we've already gone over it, Idol, and then bring a Charlie Trapper or a Big Black Dog, and just added a new Moondog. I mean, we had run the gamut multiple times, and Eric Embry involved. And again, yes, we knew it was coming to an end, but when you take a step back and just kind of look at, this might have been the last long range, long-term feud that made money. But it's kind of the art of that weekly episodic, don't get in a hurry, tell the story, and make the people keep the people engaged, but give them the ability to breathe and understand it.
Next up, Eric Embry is magically healed from the battery acid. He's back to doing six mans with you and Lawler. On May the 18th, it's hinted that if the Moondogs lose to you, Lawler and Embry, they're going to leave the territory and you get the win, but the Moondogs don't leave. Why would you do something like a bait and switch like that, do you think?
I don't know. I read that in the notes. I just wonder if, I don't know, if we're missing something where Eddie Marlin didn't come out on TV and say some kind of contract, or they got to finish out his bookings, like one of those deals. He's got 30 days to finish out all of his legal obligations and then he's leaving. I don't know.
Global gets involved in the USWA with Burt Prentice leading the charge. And now we've got, I guess, a promotion versus promotion type war. The Moondogs are a part of that angle. And since they're heels, of course, they're used in that way. Pez Watley comes in and teams with you in matches against the Moondogs. Love me some Pez. What can you tell us about him?
See, and this was on the tail end of the program and Global getting involved. So that's Pedicino and the other gentleman, Ole or whatever. Anyway, all of this it gets fuzzy. I don't have the best recollection, which kind of tells me that the box office was out of this story and we were in a transition on what's next. But until we come up with something new, we got to sort of peter this out, finish it out.
Moondog Spike even leaves the USWA in late June, but he returns in early July. And Meltzer would have this at the end of June. Before a Moondog squash, Marlin said if the dogs used the chair, they'd be banned from television forever. Of course, the first thing they did, you got it, they used the chair. Announcer Dave Brown came away from the desk and told Richard Lee that the Moondogs were suspended. Lee tried to hit Brown with a chair, but color commentator Corey Macklin took the bullet and got hit with a chair. Moondogs and Lee beat up Macklin until Jarrett and Billy Travis came out and got into the brawl. Of course, Travis juices. Travis gave Spot one of the hardest guitar shots ever, and Jarrett ripped Lee's pants off. The Spot had a gigantic forehead cut from the guitar shot, and boy, this guitar shot was brutal. Do you remember this?
Certainly wasn't a prop one. But again, this is on the tail end, and now Billy's back in the territory, which I think he returned from Texas. We'd have to do some research to jar my memory of the moving parts, because we referenced Global getting involved, and now Billy's back from Texas because he stayed out there on literally the dying days, but now he's back, and we'd had the Moondog run. So it had, again, the program respectfully was kind of circling the drain, and it appears that we went and said, all right, let's give it another shot and do the guitar, and Larry juiced big time on TV.
The Moondogs finally dropped the USWA tag team titles in a cage match on June 29th to Lawler and Jarrett in a match with Jackie Fargo as the referee. Fargo's appearance is going to boost the gate to $9,500, about 1,800 fans here. Largest gate of the year, certainly the biggest in a while. The finish would see Cujo hold Jarrett, and Spot came with the bone. Jarrett moved, and Cujo got hit with the bone. Jarrett pinned him. Biggest payoff with the biggest gate. What do you remember about this night? Got to be a highlight for you early in your career.
Well, I'm 6 years into my career, and getting Fargo in 92, he was running his business operations. He was done, but however, it would be funny. My dad would con or talk, or Lawler would con or talk Fargo, come on back one more time. Fargo would come, and he loved hanging out in the dressing room, and he would get young guys, Jackie's one of the best ribbers in the world. And he would, as soon as a new guy would walk in the room, he'd start like he's arguing with my dad and say, Jerry, I don't know why you asked me to do this. I don't want to do this. And then he'd sucker the guy, say, hey, whatever it is, trade or whatever, come here. Will you talk to Jerry Jarrett? And this guy's just standing there, and he's like, will you tell Jerry Jarrett, I don't need this $2,000 this bad. I don't want now this guy's getting paid $50 for the night. And Fargo's whole rib is, will you tell Jerry Jarrett, I don't need $2,000 tonight, or $3,000 or $5,000. And the guy would sit there and fumble and say, well, Mr. Fargo, I don't care. Tell him I don't need this cash. And he'd pull out a big wad of money. Anyway, Fargo had a lot of fun in those days, and I can assure you he wasn't taking no boards or chairs but Fargo would swing it and cut the hell of a promo, and we drew money. I think this is the last go around of the increase in houses. I think this is it, because it petered off there for a while at the end of the Embry deal, but Fargo, I think this is the blow off with Fargo.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.